the stuff that they put in people's body. For those that lived with people that have gotten that, there are these things called spiked proteins, and it goes into your body because of that. So let's get right into it. I'm also going to be giving, besides a geopolitical report as to what's really happening with the fall of, let's just call them the fake Jews, because the truth of the matter is that the people of Israel today, and that includes the Zionists that run the state of Israel, which is really Rothschild run, are actually not related to the biblical Semites, right? The true descendants of Abraham, Sarah, Jacob, Israel. They are two different bloodlines, okay? So I wanted to throw that out there. I am not anti-Semitic or anything, but at the same time, I want to expose that the people that run Israel are actually Khazarians, and they are part of the Cain, Nimrod, Esau, Edomite bloodline, for those that have read The Secret Government, Invisible Architects. And by the way, my books are both available on Amazon. And with that in mind, today is May the 10th, 2025. And yes, guys, we are steadily on a positive timeline trajectory. Besides the geopolitical report, I'm also going to give a detailed explanation about the ascension, about the three waves of ascension in regards to the three flashes that we are scheduled to have. So let's start with the geopolitical scenario, which seems like it's something that everybody enjoys to talk about these days. All right, so the National Weather Service facilities are on high alert following militant threats alleging that weather radars are being used as weapons against people in the United States. Okay, I just thought I'd throw that out there. It's good to be aware of things. At the same time, French President Emmanuel Macron has urged Freemasons to help protect and uphold secularism in France. All right, well, as you guys know, the Freemasons, which were once part of the Brotherhood of Light, have been infiltrated by the Bavarian Illuminati. And all right, let's get into it now. President Trump announced that India and Pakistan have reached a ceasefire following an extended night of negotiations with both nations. So while the world thought we were about to go into a nuclear holocaust due to the conflict between India and Pakistan, and yes, I do read the comments, a lot of you guys were concerned. It turns out that the man who I've been predicting that will win the Nobel Peace Prize for securing peace on planet Earth and ending all the conflict did it again. He was able to negotiate a deal with both the Pakistanis and the Indians to end the war. Now, for those that are unaware of why these two regions have been fighting, is because they both sit on a reservoir of what is known as lithium. Lithium, which is what they use to create artificial intelligence. So the truth comes out. The reason why their conflict, the war developed between these two nations, is because they both have access, or they sit on a region where part of this lithium is in Pakistan and part of this the other part of the lithium is in India. So that's why they were fighting, because of the race to build the super AI structure, which is, of course, part of the negative timeline. We don't have to worry about that, all right? According to the New York Times, has published an up-ad claiming that the current, this is where it gets good, that the current Israeli government is not an ally of the U.S., okay? So what if I tell you guys that all these years that Mr. T was out there going to Israel, pretending like he was really good with Netanyahu, including becoming, or taking the vow of becoming, a Jew with the thing that they put on their head, right? The yarmulke, was all part of a way to infiltrate Netanyahu from day one. The Alliance and the Whiteheads have known that not only has Netanyahu been a key player within the deep state, but that Netanyahu was also a conspirator in what happened in the U.S. on September 11, 2001. Furthermore, AIPAC is being shut out of the Trump's administration. Mike Waltz was working with Netanyahu to undermine Trump, and there's hope that the U.S. will cut ties with the Mossad, the MI6, according to independent journalist David R. Riley. All right, President Trump has severed ties with Netanyahu within the last few days. This is great news. Israel is the last stronghold of the cabal, and it is about to fall. Okay? Criticizing that the Israeli prime minister and his allies, the globalists, the Satanists, right, for being arrogant and attempting to pressure him. There's more. Well, it turns out that President Trump has announced a major press conference revealing the completion of his first, you could say, attempt to dissolve his ties with the leadership of Israel. So Trump is now ready to open the floodgates regarding of what happened on September 11, 2001, the Twin Towers. All right. Apparently, this is going to be part of the massive disclosure. This is going to probably break the iceberg along with the Diddy list and the Jeffrey list. There is evidence uncovered by the White Hat military that 9/11 was also masterminded by Netanyahu. So that means that the state of Israel, currently run by the political Zionists, Khazarians, the fake Jews, have been instrumental in the infiltration and destruction of the American freedom and were involved in the execution, apparently, of what happened on September 11, 2001. And that they have been involved in the draconian control of American soil. This evil done by these fake Jews will be exposed for all to see. And again, I did make the distinction that these Jews that live in Israel today are not related to the original biblical Semites. Okay? Let's be clear about that. All right. Well, furthermore, all right. So in a dramatic shift of allegiances that has left both political analysts and geopolitical observers stunned within the last few days, Donald Trump is turning against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And that is a great thing, right? Israel is the last card to fall for the cabal. Well, it turns out that this was a move that many insiders have said for years that it was part of what's ready to be unfolded, okay? A move that many insiders say has been years in the making, all right? From the beginning, there is a saying, you keep your enemies closer. So while many of you thought that Mr. T and the Prime Minister of Israel were buddies, he was actually assigned by the alliance to infiltrate one of the cabal's most influential key players that have been instigating all the wars throughout the Middle East. Though once viewed as a staunch, you could say, ally of Israel, talking about Mr. T, and a personal friend of Netanyahu, Trump's latest actions and rhetoric suggest that this alliance was nothing more than a long game of strategic infiltration. Okay? So from behind the curtain, Trump has always known that Netanyahu was not only a deep state operative, but a globalist puppet acting on behalf of the Khazarian mafia and the Rothschild banking dynasty, the architects of what we call today modern-day Zionist, right? Established by the Balfour Treaty, 1947. So from the beginning, Trump's public embrace of Netanyahu was part of a larger white hat operation. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The art of war. The saying goes, And Trump, the master tactician, played the role perfectly. Okay. His 2017 visit to Israel, his symbolic gesture at the Western Wall, and his conventional, or rather controversial, recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital were not signs of blind support, but carefully choreographed moves. It was all planned by the White Hats from behind the scenes. His reported conversion to Judaism, including wearing, the little thing on top of the head, and we've all seen that, right? And many of you guys were questioning, why is he converting to Judaism? I thought Trump was Christian. Well, it was part of a choreographed infiltration, which was often misunderstood, but it overall was a calculated step to gain deeper access into the inner sanctum of Zionist power, a modern-day Trojan horse maneuver. Okay, so by winning the trust of the Zionist elite, Trump embedded himself within their sphere, gathering intelligence and leverage necessary to dismantle it from within. He understood early on that Israel, under the control of political Zionists like Netanyahu, was not the biblical Holy Land of the Old Testament, but rather the last fortified bastion of the deep state, right? A state propped by bloodlines traceable back to Nimrod, the Edomites, not King David, the banking empires, and of course the clandestine war profiteers. The modern state of Israel, created in 1948 through manipulation and coercion, became the central hub of global intelligence networks. Financial blackmail systems and endless conflict in the Middle East has happened as a result of that. Trump also knew that the darker truths hidden from public view, that Netanyahu, acting on behalf of these globalist overlords, played a key role in orchestrating and again covering up the events that took place on September 11. The Mossad, Israel's intelligence service, was deeply established in the attacks, and Netanyahu was a central figure, right? He was actually working with the Jesuits and the Nazis, right? So he was not merely a complicit, but an orchestrated, he was merely not only a complicit, rather, but orchestrating alongside the Western intelligence cabals to ignite what we called the war on terror. So even the Bush administration and Dick Cheney were in cahoots with the Mossad. This war, which was a fake war, the war on terror, if you guys remember, in turn served only to destabilize sovereign nations, enrich arm leaders or dealers, and expand the Zionist empire across the Middle East. But now the empire is crumbling. That's why they say Israel is last, the last car to fall before the White Hat Alliance usher in a new era, the final liberation of planet Earth. So now that the empire is crumbling, right, we're going to be witnessing the fall of Israel. Trump turned against Netanyahu is not merely personal, but it is a symbolic of a larger operation to expose and end the political Zionist project that has enslaved humanity for decades. The truth is being unveiled. The modern leaders of Israel are not the descendants of biblical Israelites, but rather the imposters foretold in the ancient texts, right? The false Jews, as described in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9, and in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. The so-called Jews are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. That's what they are. They are of the synagogue of Satan. These are not Semitic people, right? But descendants of the Khazarian lineage who adapted Judaism centuries ago for political and economic gain. So by exposing this truth, Trump and the White Hat Alliance are preparing to pull down the final pillar of the cabal's global dominion. Israel, once considered untouchable, is now the last domino waiting to fall. And when it does, the world will witness the collapse of the Rothschild banking empire, the dismantling of the Zionist-controlled media, and the release of suppressed technologies and truth long buried beneath the sands of secrecy. The fall of Israel as a Zionist stronghold marks the end of the old world, a world ruled by deception, war, and manipulation, and that the dawn of a new era for all humanity is going to happen as a result of that. The liberation of the Jewish people, the Arab world, and the entire human race from the claws of globalist tyranny is at hand. And Trump, whether loved or hated, stands at the center of this historic turning point, not as a mere political figure, but as a disruptor sent to crush the final head of the Hydra. So the exposure of Netanyahu is not just a political move, it is the fulfillment of prophecy, the reckoning of falsehoods, and the unveiling of a new age. This, you could say that the era of lies is now coming to an end, that the age of truth is about to begin. And yes, that's why we've all known that Israel is the last card to fall. Okay? It is the last card to fall. So I'm excited for the times that we're living in, and this is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. There's more to come. Okay? Furthermore, I do want to get into a update on what to expect during the 3 waves of ascension, because I've been reading the comments. A lot of people have been asking me. A lot of people have been DMing me on my personal email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. Again, I don't have, you could say, what is it called? A Patreon. I don't charge for subscriptions, but if you do support my work, I do have my banking account through Zelle connected through projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. And Zion, Z-I-O-N, has nothing to do with the Zionists. It has to do with the original establishment between Melchizedek and Abraham, returning us back to freedom. Okay? So again, this is a term that was adopted by the Cabal, and they inverted it. Just like the swastika was inverted, and it was adopted by the Nazis to use it in their agenda of world domination, when in essence the swastika meant the balance of the 4th season, used by the ancient Indians. There is evidence of that, that also represented the 4 directions. So again, these terminologies, these symbols, which were once used for good, including the Eye of Horus, right, which really is the activation of the 3rd eye chakra, used by the Cabal to invert it and control the human race. Okay? So, with that in mind, let's talk about the 3 ways of ascension, because it is my understanding, and I do have a galactic report coming from the Galactic Alliance, things that you guys should understand. What's going to be happening when we transition into the new Earth. So, we have to understand the 3 solar flashes, okay? So, in the evolving narrative of spiritual awakening and cosmic evolution, the concept of the 3 waves of ascension, often described as 3 distinct solar flashes, is now becoming a pivotal thing, okay? These solar flashes are believed to be monumental bursts of energy emitted by our sun, each progressively increasing in power and magnitude. So each flash is going to be stronger than the prior flash. Their purpose is to assist humanity, particularly the star seeds and the spiritually awakening individuals, in activating dormant aspects of their DNA in order to achieve higher states of consciousness. So let's talk about the mechanism behind solar flashes. Well, The first solar flash is anticipated to act as a global wake-up call, which is going to be happening this year. While its energy will be immense, it will primarily serve to initiate the activation of the star seeds, who are on the cusp of readiness. This flash will also steer dormant DNA codes, beginning the transformation process in a relatively gentle manner, allowing individuals to adjust to the influx of higher dimensional energies. Not only that, but the first flash is also going to trigger the unveiling of all the suppressed information, which is what we called the disclosure coming from the White Hats. So everything's falling in alignment with that, okay? The second solar flash, stronger and more profound, will have deepened this transformation and allow for another wave of readiness people to make the shift and transform into their new bodies, okay? So at this stage, many who were not fully prepared during the first wave will have had time to elevate their vibrations and integrate the earlier energies. The DNA activation will progress further during the second flash, leading to heightened psychic abilities, deeper intuitive knowing, and a more tangible sense of unity consciousness, which is what we call Christ consciousness. Now, the third and final flash will be the most powerful and transformative. This burst will usher in a complete activation to those who have prepared themselves spiritually, mentally, and physically. So by this point, a significant portion of humanity will have raised their frequency sufficiently to fully embrace ascension, stepping into their roles as cosmic beings of light and wisdom. And the reason this is important, the last flash is going to be the most important one because that's what's going to separate the timelines. Okay, that's what's going to separate the bifurcation of timelines. And by then, all of the disclosure, the mass revelations that are about to take place will have had already happened. So why 3 waves? Why are they necessary? Well, there's a reason for that, okay? Because a single massive solar flash might seem like an efficient way to trigger global ascension, but the reality is more complex than that. Humanity, composed of both starseeds and earthborn souls, which is what we call the Terrans, exist across a wide spectrum of spiritual readiness. So if the sun were to release its full energetic potential in one overwhelming burst, the consequences would be likened to be very catastrophic, both for the planet's ecological balance and for the well-being of those who are not vibrationally aligned with such a sudden shift. So thus, the 3 waves serve as a compassionate purpose. They allow for a gradual, measured ascension process, giving individuals and the planet time to adapt and evolve at a sustainable pace. Again, the deadline is 2028. Okay, but the first flash will take place this year. This tiered approach ensures this 3-way approach ensures that as many souls as possible can ascend without trauma and destruction that might accompany a single all-encompassing event. So this is going to prevent major geological cataclysms, physical crustal displacement, also known as physical pole shifts, which could be devastating. Not to mention, if people aren't ready, then not everyone that is good will be able to shift and transition peacefully and smoothly into the new earth. So this was designed so that no soul is left behind. Okay. So the role of the starseeds. Well, the starseeds, who are the souls that have incarnated on Earth from higher dimensions, right, with a mission to aid in planetary ascension, play the most crucial role in this process. These beings carry within their dormant DNA strands encoded with cosmic knowledge and abilities. The solar flashes are designed to activate these latent codes, empowering starseeds to remember their origins and fulfill their missions as guides to the Earth Tarans. Not only as guides, but as healers and light bearers during humanity's ascension journey. So the 3 waves of ascension through solar flashes represent a divinely orchestrated plan for the spiritual evolution of Earth and its inhabitants as a whole. And so by aligning staggered activation and ascension opportunities, this cosmic event ensures a harmonious transition into a higher vibrational existence, safeguarding both the planet and its people from unnecessary upheaval. It's been prophesied, it has been prophesied, guys, that throughout history and referred to by many names: ascension, the day of purification, the event, the new earth, the age of Aquarius, the new golden age, the shift of ages, the day of the Lord, biblical rapture, and the second coming of the Christ, just to name a few. And there are certain biblical verses which I will share that actually validate all this. So it overall describes a transition to a higher state of being with eternal peace and prosperity. Our Pleiadian family, who are the angels in the Bible, by the way, or future version of us that are now returning to assist us in the greatest transformation in human history, call this the shift. And it's an immediate transition from the 3D into a parallel 4D, 5D, and 6D Earth reality, okay? Across the cosmos, Earth is known as a school, the greatest school ever, okay? So the Pleiadians have taught us that Earth is a school where souls from other worlds volunteer to experience challenges that lead to soul growth alongside Earth's native souls who reincarnate naturally. Again, the native souls of the Earth are the Earth Terrans, the younger souls. There is a distinction between the young souls and the old souls. So we are in a controlled environment with free will and some obstacles included in our soul plan, which are planned by us. There are lies and deceptions in this world, but there is also assistance from the forces of light that are protecting from outside threats. So at the shift, humans will transcend aging, sickness, and death, and receive new abilities. There will be full disclosure on every topic and answers to every question. Humans meet many galactic races, will be meeting many galactic races, and become part of a galactic civilization. It has been prophesied. Earth native souls and starseeds will experience the shift together, but since starseeds are already ascended beings that have returned, Earth's ascension is primarily for the benefit of the Earth native souls, the Earth Tarans. So the shift is graduation from the Earth for the Earth's native souls. And that's why they need to first go into 4D, as they need to evolve in increments. Whereas the starseeds, the older souls, are going to have access to 5 dimension and above. So our ascension is caused by coronal mass ejections and cosmic cycles. It is a plan that was made thousands of years ago by the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which is now known as the Galactic Alliance. Ascension has been gifted to many worlds who have reached this point of readiness, and Earth is next. The generations alive now are the ones who will experience it, and that is all of you. Therefore, Earth has always been a unique place because so many members of galactic organizations have incarnated as humans on Earth throughout history. So what we've assumed is only human history. What we've assumed, as human history is part of a greater tapestry known as galactic history. So for those that have not read our cosmic origin, case in point. And the question is, why now? Well, advanced technologies are emerging and progressing exponentially. Immediate communication has a direct effect on the collective consciousness. artificial intelligence is taking over in many, many ways, right? So by the standards of the elders, who are the guardians of our realm, the elder race, the guardians of humanity, right? Humans have endured all the tests necessary to advance. So apparently there's going to be 3 Earths. There's going to be a 4th dimensional Earth, a 5th dimensional Earth, and I'm sorry to say this, a cybernetic, artificial, inorganic, technocratic, dystopian Earth. So the people who are left behind at the shift will witness millions of people disappear in a blink of an eye. There will be panic and fear in the minutes and hours to follow when this shift takes place. Many explanations will emerge, and it's likely to be blamed on mass alien abduction. Only extremely low vibration people and PCs won't make it, or the wicked, right? The satanic elites, the murderers, the pedo files, the rapists, the career criminals, and generally the most hateful and deprived people, okay? Most people have nothing to worry about unless you fit into these categories. People who are flawed but trying to do their best will ascend, at least into the 4th the earth. No one will actually be left behind, okay? As each person who realizes what has happened can make that choice at any moment in time to ascend. And that's why there's going to be 3 waves now. All it takes is a realization that there is light that they can call on, whether they define it as God or anything else. Love is still in their heart chakra and can be activated. So when the person left behind realizes that people ascended and that they too want to ascend, they won't die, but will instantly be in a density of non-physical, totally awake and aware, and they will be allowed to choose between shifting to the new earth or starting over as these new humans are born on the new earth. The new earth, which is what we call the Terra Earth, dimensions 4, 5, and 6, the infrastructure, the ley lines are already there. It's already existing, coexisting with us as of the 2nd of April, 2025, as reported by the Galactic Alliance. So when we finally experience it, it means we have traveled through the portal to the moment that the Earth, the new Earth, was first established. All right, so let's talk about portals, okay? Understand that not only are there natural portals on the Earth that are going to activate when the flashes take place, but that every single one of you is a personal portal, okay? And that also explains why all of us, the starseeds, are spread geographically everywhere. So through these portals, you're going to be able to shift in between Earths from 4th density to 5th density, 6th density, and back to 4th density. And at this moment of the shift, there will be a signal, a portal of energy and light that will surround the entire planet as the stargates open and people make the transition. So a frequency will be set in place to usher in the new Earth into a state of reality for those that are ready to shift into the new Earth. This magnificent frequency will draw beings that are matching the vibration of this frequency into the portal of entry into the new Earth. This frequency covers the Earth in parameters of majesty, as a dimension will open the boundaries to receive all of life. Each soul has an energy portal that will open to a massive portal of light and shimmering vibrations. The portals are in sync with all the crystals within the bodies, including the 144,000 light workers who are specially encoded. The bodies of animals and a grid of underground crystals are placed all around the planet. There will be a feeling of bliss as the earth is covered with a new frequency. In a blink of an eye, everything will change. Spirit will allow each soul to transmute their consciousness and form to upgraded bodies, and each soul will instantly be in the new earth. The heart chakra, I talked about that in my Ascension 2.0 class and my Ascension Basics, is the frequency that allows all of the Akashic records to be remembered. It is connected with all the different versions of you. Everyone will have the perspective of their soul and understand the purpose of each waking dream. The sky will change colors as portals open and crafts of all shapes and sizes appear. There's going to be mass landings. Craft will land in designated areas and celebrations will commence. There will be public announcements and introductions beginning in Sedona, beginning with the Venusians, our local planet Venus, and the Pleiadians as well. No one will be separated from their pets or loved ones. Nothing will be lost, and everything will be gained. Details of the world that we remember could be somewhat different due to the Mandela effect. We will be experiencing a reality without the history of manipulation by the dark forces. It will be a perfected version of the earth that we know. Crystals are spirit in many types of forms and are alive with consciousness. So within our bodies, throughout the earth, and on stars in thousands of galaxies that are unknown to the earth, crystals were created to be with all life in all densities and dimensions to assist in emanating frequencies to raise consciousness. Quartz is the most powerful transmitter of spirit consciousness, spirit communication, energy, sound, and technology on crafts. There are crystal transmitters placed deep within the oceans, beneath mountains, and in deserts and ice. These are 200 to 300 feet tall, and there are thousands of these quartz crystals in a triangular shape. Each crystal stands perfectly straight and will raise at the moment of the shift. Crystal placement is continually checked due to shifts in the Earth's from earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, or natural movement on the Earth. So when the shift occurs and the portals of light cover the Earth, all of the negative energy released will be removed and sent through the black hole at the center of the Milky Way near Sagittarius Day. But of course, it's not really a black hole. It is a galactic central sun that is spinning universal life force in a centrifugal manner. But to the Earth scientists, of course, it appears to be a black hole. Okay, so as the portal of light entry covers the Earth, the largest, you could say, portal will swallow all the residual energy from the changing of the Earth's density to one of peace. The Earth of inhabitants will change as the soul takes light with them to the new Earth. The remaining Earth will feel as though death is near, but a renewal of life will be planned by the galactics who leave no one in despair. The residual energy from the darkness of Earth's groaning will be propelled upward and outward as portals receive the energy of death and darkness. Everything will be absolute and in order as life on the new Earth thrives in the light. The new Earth will have everything that we have now. Buildings, houses, parks, recreation areas, families. It's all still going to be there, guys. But it will be perfected as if the negative influences never existed. There will be no more death by disease or old age, and reincarnation will be done. Humans will continue having families and children. 5D Earth will thrive as a galactic civilization. The size of our planet will seem to expand as it was during its first inception. One of the things that I described in my class called our Cosmic Origin course is that Earth was once a super Earth known as Tiamat. Due to the galactic wars that took place here in our solar system 4 million years ago, part of Tiamat has been reduced to the asteroid belt, and the other part evolved into our current Earth, as to why it's a lot smaller, but it'll soon increase in size again. And that explains why we're going to be taller. As the Earth becomes bigger, so are we going to grow in stature. There will be endless space for everyone to live on their own land, you could say. Everything that we think we understand about physics will be turned upside down. Humans will reunite with all of their departed ones. A lot of you ask me the same question, and it's fine because I get a lot of new subscribers on a daily basis. Will I be seeing my loved ones that passed away? There you guys go. Humans will be reuniting with all their departed ones. All souls will be known to each other. Friends, family, loves, and enemies will be remembered. We're going to have full access to the Akashic records, and we'll have the ability to view any past lifetime or moment in Earth's history. A short-term currency will transition Earth to a non-currency system in the 50. The QFS will only be operating in the 4th. So in the 50, there will be a return to a more simplistic barter and trade system, and people can work to achieve more. Most people will spend their time with hobbies and developing new talents. The age of working from 9 to 5, which is slavery, is over. New technology will be gifted to the surface humans to provide for every want and need. Existing problems will be solved, and improvements will be made in transportation, education, and entertainment. Yes, we're still going to be making film, but it's not going to be, it's going to be spiritually uplifting films, educational films. Learning how to use crystals will change everything as we reestablish our relationship with the crystals. Space travel. Let's talk about space travel in the new Earth. Humans will travel the universe as junior members of the Galactic Alliance. Yes, that's right. The Earth Terrans are going to be recruited to be part of the Galactic Alliance. There will be new schools where star visitors will share advanced knowledge on many subjects on this planet. As the old educational system comes to an end, to give rise to the new educational interplanetary system. There will be new forms of art and music inspired by extraterrestrial cultures. Space travel will become more common as all will become accustomed to the new frequencies. Multiple strands of DNA and a normal life of 5D and beyond will be activated for all. There will remain choices for those who wish to expand consciousness at a lower pace. This gives freedom of choice. Freedom is our right as beings, our birthright. Let's talk about health in the new Earth. Well, there won't be any physical sickness or death, but humans will still practice healthy living. Food will be perfected. There will still be eating in the 4th Earth, not so much in the 50, but again, those that go into the 50 will be able to go into the 4th to enjoy a piece of chocolate cake and some good lasagna. There will still be eating, okay, of course, and drinking in the new Earth, but our bodies can still be damaged in the 4th Earth, but healing will be done quickly due to the advanced healing modalities. So there will only be holistic types of treatments. We will not call them what we call today chemical medicine, but they will be considered to be a part of a healthy and whole lifestyle. There will be obtained from the beautiful plants and flowers, no longer contaminated by the toxins once sprayed. The flowers and vegetables will once again look as if they always should, and contain all needs to sustain our life. They will be much like the civilizations of a type 2 and a type 1, which I described in my cosmic origin course, where our flowers are the sizes of cantaloupes. Water will be pure and can be obtained naturally from streams and be safe to drink. Let's talk about the abilities of what we're going to have in the new earth. New abilities will manifest instantly. Everyone will be physically youthful and healthy, will have a crystalline-based heart and circulatory system, will be able to fly, teleport, to be telepathic. Everyone will develop new talents and interest. Star seeds will begin to look more like their true higher selves. For instance, incarnated Arcturians will look more Arcturian. Your skin will look more bluish, spocky ears. Syrians will look more like Syrians. Your head's going to get bigger brain. Pleiadians are going to look more like the Pleiadians, very chiseled and buff with a six-pack for men. So starseeds that remain in the new earth until they decide to return back home, and that's up to you, will leave the physical body without death at the time of their choosing. Now let's talk about the animals, because a lot of you asked me, what's going to happen to the animals? Well, the animals are ascending, as found in Isaiah, book in the Bible, chapter 11, verse 6, when it says that the lion shall lie down beside the lamb, and a child shall lead them. There will be no more eating animals, and there will be peace among all the animals and humans on the new earth. Animals will be at peace and walk among the people without either having fear. A new communication and understanding will be, and there will be no more desire for humans to eat or kill the creatures again. So pets and all the animals have experienced duality, right? Will now eventually in the new earth thrive and only know love. And that includes every animal, okay? Everyone will connect with beloved pets and loved ones who played roles for them in each waking dream. Now let's talk about some of the changes for the new earth native souls, for the earth native souls, which is what I've been calling the younger souls, the earth Tarans. So as the earth shifts in consciousness and light becomes the absolute for all beings, native souls will also be able to choose their location of being. The connection of many families on the earth that have been native to earth and joined to starseeds will allow earth native souls to remain in the new earth or return with souls that they have loved for waking dreams to the stars of shared families. Each soul, or each native soul, will have abilities for the first time that starseeds will return to as familiar life. In the new earth, earth souls will use telepathy and travel and craft. All souls will enjoy sharing beautiful gardens and lush plants in great variety of nourishment. Or in great variety of for nourishment. If you guys could give me a second, I actually have to blow my nose. 1 second. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for your patience. I know you guys are probably thinking, well, where's Q&A? We're waiting for Q&A. Well, I'm almost done. I am almost done. But you guys need to know this. You guys really need to know this, okay? So, Earth native souls will have abilities, but not like the old souls, right? They're just going to have telepathy, okay, for the first time. That's it. They're not going to have any other abilities. But overall, all souls will enjoy sharing beautiful gardens with lush plants and great variety for nourishment. Without toxins, bodies will be strong and never experience death, as they will be, you could say, circulating or living off of universal life force through their crystalline heart. all beings will live in harmony as they share their experience. No, all beings will live in harmony as they share their expressions of art, design, and all creative abilities as they experience oneness and love for all. Learning and technology will continue without end, and all will prosper and share all the goods. So be at great peace, guys, as we come to understand Earth's native souls will also be joining us in the 4th Earth, which is going to be a much better world than this one. Okay. Let's see. So, many that are going to shift into the new Earth, which are all the good people of the Earth, whether they go to 4D, 5D, or 6D, and those in heavens of light, which are the older souls that are going into the 5D or above, are perfect in the essence of God. Okay? They're going to be known as perfect in the essence of God. With power and consciousness, they will join even the Earth Terrans in the 4D in perfect bodies at the Great Shift. With perfect bodies. So the rebirthing of the new Earth. So at the shift, much of the light will be gone, and this Earth will begin to suffer greatly, the old Earth, as it withers away, because it is also a living entity of consciousness. Many plants, trees, and nature will die or become sick and withered in the old Earth. There will be discord and fighting in the old Earth. Transhumanism, again, this is the old Earth that is going into the technocratic dystopia, not to be confused with the new Earth, dimensions 4, 5, and 6. Transhumanism will become the norm in the old Earth, and AI will take over in the old Earth. As long as there are humans in this Earth, the galactics will continue to assist. So after every soul has departed, the dark forces will be removed and permanently dealt with. At that moment, when it occurs, there will be a huge transmuting of energy and relocation of matter. The Earth and universe, we know, will be changed and rearranged, a new heavens and a new Earth. But the history and Akashic and the Earth will be populated again by a new creation of human beings. The new Earth will begin expanding its new universe. There will always be free will, but this time there will be no dark forces manipulating us. You could say the new Earth will thrive and grow. There will be spiritual leaders, the old souls, the star seeds. You guys are going to be the leaders of the Earth Terrans. The galactics will look on this project, right, as the way parents look at their children when they are on their own. Let's see. The galactics will bring and teach new technologies, while the star seeds are going to assist in that. New energy modalities, forms of transportation, in order to create a self-reliant society, okay, where every individual is a sovereign unto it themselves. The people of the earth will be giving all the records of what happened on this earth and what has always occurred. The Akashic records will be available to everyone, including the halls of records that are currently existing underneath the Sphinx in Egypt. All that stuff will be revealed, okay? Well, those that are sent is because they're on a soul level, they are choosing to grow and expand. There are some who may have chosen darkness before who will prefer to continue in a lower frequency before joining us in the new earth. So the long answer is that Jesus was a human being who is an incarnated Syrian soul, Elohim soul. Let me repeat that again. A lot of people are asking me, who is Jesus? Jesus was a human being. He was an incarnated Syrian Pleiadian Elohim soul on a mission to teach humans of their personal divinity and oneness with God. So when he returns, it won't be as the same of a human man, okay? Jesus will return as his true soul, a Syrian Pleiadian Elohim leader, also known as Sananda. He is, again, the leader of the New Jerusalem mothership. He will not be worshipped as God because we're all going to be like him. We're all going to be like Christ as we ascend, but welcome as family, all right, along with many other ascended beings and spiritual teachers from the earth's history. They're all going to be returning. And believe it or not, they're already here in human form. They are some of you. Some of you guys are these ascended beings. All you have to do is integrate with that version of yourself. So that is what the second coming is all about. It is integrating with those higher versions of yourself that are already ascended. So what does the Bible say about ascension? What does the Bible say about ascension? Well, ascension is a primary theme in the message of Jesus and a fundamental part of Christianity. The Bible does reference the Galactic Federation, well, now it's the Galactic Alliance, and the Pleiadians as angels and lords, and describes the shift many times, okay? For instance, in the book of John, chapter 14, verse 10, in my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? John 14:10. Luke 17:36. Two men shall be in the field, one shall be taken and the other one left. Luke 17:36. In the book of First Thessalonians, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. First Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 17. 1 Corinthians. For now we see only a reflection as a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, that I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed, transformed into what? Homo luminous. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the end of the heaven to the other. Matthew chapter 24, verse 31. And also, we hear this in the Hopi prophecies about revealing a blue star Shekinah, which is the return of the true white brotherhood and the beginning of the fifth world age that matches the prophecy described in the book of Revelation about the Son of Man, with 7 stars seen before the rapture. The Hopi believe that their ancestors came from the Pleiades, which they call Shukshukan, or those who clinched together. Early Dakota legends speak of the Pleiadians as the body of the ancestors, many of them also having stories about being taken home to other planets on the day of purification. Son of Man translates to like a human and can refer to Pleiadians or Pleiadian starseeds. Prophecies about the Son of Man returning in the clouds in the last days refer to the Galactic Federation, Galactic Alliance now. That was in the Bible. The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 27. At that time, they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud. The cloud is a metaphor for the ship, the New Jerusalem, Sananda, with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand up and lift your heads because your redemption is drawing near. Again, that is Luke chapter 21, verse 27. Now let's look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But about the day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be at the second coming of men, or the Son of Men. The 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52 says, For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and the shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Now, we read in Matthew chapter 24, verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Matthew 24, verse 30. And then we read in Luke chapter 12, verse 40. Be you therefore ready also, for the Son of Man comes at an hour when you think not. Luke chapter 12, verse 40. And then in the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 12, we read, I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe searching down his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze, glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all of its brilliance. All right, there you guys go. Evidence in the Bible regarding the ascension and the signs of what to expect when the ascension takes place. I hope you guys are having a fantastic evening on the 10th of May, 2025. I hope you guys share this live with a lot of people. I worked on this presentation for many hours in the last couple of days. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now it's about that time to take some Q&A, as we are a little over the hour. My God, time flies when you're having fun. Let's see who is here. I see. No, I'm good. Thank you. I see. Oh, thank you, Vidmer, for your super chat. I'll get right to it. Let me give a few shout outs before I start with the questions. Leah Archer. Welcome, Leah. Edward Kazarjan. Welcome, Edward. Josephine Lynch. Trinity Q. Lily. JT. Welcome. Lynn Sunette. Welcome. Sophia Glory. Cheryl. Is it Porn Moon? Porn Moon. Okay, what kind of interesting name. Lisa Lothor, Sandy Kuzma, David Doster. Who else is here? Jan R. Sarah is here. Roy's Toys and Comics is here. Starlight is here. MJF. Abundant Balanced Living is here. Daryl Smith. Paul Schaefer. Sandra is here. Sean Rutenberg is here. Esme 3000 is here. Peggy Baker is here. Thomas Flips. Michael Gosnell is here. Terry Carl. I'm trying to give shout outs to people that I've never gave shout outs before. All right, I guess that's enough since the chat is going super fast. One more. Patricia Sibra is here. Okay, cool. All righty. All right, let's start with the super chat. This is from Vidmir. Hey, Ishmael, wanted to express my gratitude and love you. Oh, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Started my journey 5 months ago. I found out I am a starseed, and I have been doing my inner work. Good for you. Good for you. Do you think I'll be in the first wave or later on? Well, only you and God and your higher self know that, brother. I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you if you are or not. But I do feel that you are a starseed. That is a definite fact. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. All right, next question. I'm just going to take random questions now, guys. It's a hot one today in California, guys. It's been like almost 90-something degrees. Thank you, Ishmael, for all you do. What do Andromedans look like? Andromedans are very, very tall, and they look human-like. Some of them, however, don't look too human. They look a little different than humans. There's actually different categories of Andromedans. Some of them are actually archangelics, right? They have many faces with many wings. Some of them are human-like, and some of them are slightly different than humans. But for the most part, Andromedans are considered humanoids. And some are blue. Some have skin tone that is blue, and some are different shades of different types of skin colors. How is the Alliance helping with chemtrails? Says Zero. Zero. Welcome, Zero. Well, JFK Jr., who is also part of the Alliance, is actually working on ending chemtrails. And the Trump administration has already signed an executive order to end chemtrails, which is very good news. Again, guys, for those that are just jumping in, don't forget to watch this from the beginning. I gave a thorough explanation as to how Trump was tasked with infiltrating the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, from day one, pretending to like him, pretending to convert to Judaism, when it was all part of a tactic to get closer to his enemies. And now he's about to expose them. So make sure you guys watch the live from the beginning to understand that the last card of the cabal is falling, and that is Israel. Okay, Israel is going to be falling. Oh, very informative. Thanks. You are welcome. It is a great honor and pleasure to serve, guys. Can you explain 666? This is a question from Space Shin Dizzle. Well, 666, which is very related to the Antichrist, is actually related to the molecular structure of carbon DNA, right? Which is 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, and 6 neutrons, electrons, and 6 protons. So it is what binds us to mortality. The original molecular structure that the original humans were made out of is the crystalline genome, crystalline structure genetics, which is 777. Okay, so there's a lot of meaning behind 666. Not to mention the original cryptocurrency. The patent for the original cryptocurrency was patent number 60606, which is tied into the system of the beast, which is what we call the CBDC. How can we increase our vibration? Very simple. Ground yourself. Be in the presence. Elevate your thoughts and emotions. And make sure that your actions are aligned with that. That's how you increase your vibration. Thank you so much for the super chat. I have another super chat from Sandy Kuzma. Thank you, Sandy Kuzma. I appreciate that. I also want to thank Suzanne K for that Zelle through my email, projectrestorationzion@gmail.com. Thank you, Suzanne K. Oh, yeah. A great gift for Mother's Day for those that are celebrating Mother's Day tomorrow. What great gift to give your mother would be what? Folium, the Folium product. The link is in the bio, guys. The best gift that you could give anyone is the complete elimination of the radiation and metals in their bodies, right? Because you're doing them a health service. So for those that have not gotten a Mother's Day gift, I would order some Folium products, all right? So that way they could be healthier. As a reminder. Yes, that's right. Animals will not need food like they do in 3D. That is absolutely correct. So there will be no more hunt and hunted. Better yet said. Hi, Ishmael. Will we learn more about the Fibonacci sequence, which is the golden means, right? Absolutely. Yes. I actually talk about a little bit about that in my Ascension 2.0 classes. Thoughts or feelings on the new Pope? It's an American Pope, Pope Leo the 14th. Well, there are some rumors within the alliance. This is, to each his own. There are some rumors that are circulating with the alliance that the reason it took the Vatican or the cardinals so long to elect the Pope, well, first of all, every single Pope up until Francis, in order to become Pope, had to be involved in some sort of little one sacrifice, if you guys know what I mean, and little one, sex abuse, UAL. So that's why it took forever for them to elect the Pope. But I've heard through the great political grapevine within the alliance, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I heard that this American Pope is actually there as a mole to reveal the pedophilia of the Vatican and expose the truth within the church, which is going to be the ending of the church as we know it. So, as Father Malachi prophesied centuries ago, the last Pope will be the indicator. Francis will be the symbolic to the ending of the old guard, the old era, and the beginning of a new era. So this new American Pope, Leo the 14th, could be a mole working for the alliance to expose the Vatican corruption. Think about it for a second. Now, I do want to welcome all the flat earthers that are in the house and all the round earthers. I put out a reel yesterday regarding my perspective, and after deep consideration, assessment, and analysis, I came to the realization that just like in quantum science, is the photon a particle or a wave? It is both. It's all a matter of perception. From a second dimensional perspective, the Earth is flat. Yes. From a third dimensional perspective, it is a sphere because everything is held together by the 5 platonic solids, right? The tetrahedron, the dodecahedron, the icosahedron, and I forget the other two, the tesseract and the icosahedron. Thank you. So bear in mind that there's also different versions of the Earth beyond the flat Earth and beyond the spherical Earth that are more complex. So Earth is existing as a multidimensional construct on different energy levels or layers of reality. So it's all about perception. So I want to welcome all my flat earthers and all my round earthers. After deep consideration, I think it's okay to say that the Earth is both. It is flat, it is round, and it is a lot much more complex than what we think on higher levels or layers of reality that we are soon going to have access to when we ascend, right? As the Earth becomes much bigger. So, with that in mind, yes, there is a meeting ground, a meeting ground between all opposites. Just remember that, guys. According to the Hermetic principles, all opposites come to a neutral point, which means that even creation and evolution that have for centuries been at odds also have a neutrality point, right? When you start considering that creation, which is creation by intelligent design, is incomplete information, right? And then you start considering that even evolution is incomplete information. There's too many missing links. Well, what if at a higher level of reality, they are able to come into one and they are one and the same, okay? Everything is driven by intelligent design. So even evolution, even the mutation of cells, a single cell into a complex cellular structure, was intelligently designed. and there is an inner intelligence in every sequence that led from the mammalian life forms, or I'm sorry, the marine life into the amphibian life into the mammalian life. Okay, and in like manner, creation, as revealed in religion, is very simple, and it's also incomplete. So they're both incomplete. But when you approach it from a multidimensional perspective involving many worlds, other realities, and other dimensions, all of a sudden creation and evolution begin to merge. It is all by intelligent design, including the mutations. And that's the reason why Darwin failed, because he said that it was all by accident, when in actuality, it was all driven by intelligent design. So, yes, I want to welcome again my flat earthers that are here, my round earthers, and it's everything. Okay, guys, it's everything. We have to expand our horizon. It's just not one thing, it's all a matter of perception. Very similar to the double slit experiment. It's all perception. So, depending on the level of reality, the earth changes form. Yes, that is true. Overall, my Mother Gaia is a sphere that is a living being. That's right. Thank you, Edward, for pointing that out. Again, guys, please type your questions in capital letters so that I could bypass the chat. And again, guys, um, you don't have to take my perspective of things. You could choose to agree to disagree, and we could still be Galactic Jedis. But I welcome all perspectives. Okay, I welcome all perspectives. Oh, I hear we have a birthday in the house. Happy birthday, Shauna. If Shauna's out there, happy birthday to you. Thank you, Vidmir, for your super chat. Appreciate that. Will we have telepathy in 4D? I believe so. Yes, I believe that the Earth Terrans are at least going to have one latent ability, and that is telepathy, while the Starseeds are going to have multiple powers. Let's see. Questions. Yes, the Earth Terrans will start to develop their abilities as well. Yes, yes. Are the children born today with new information on the today born with new information on this ascension? This is a question from Abundance Balance Living. And the answer to that is yes. We're having a huge influx of what is known as crystal children. that are really advanced extraterrestrial souls or angels incarnating in human bodies. And a lot of that is happening because we're about to transition into a new earth very, very soon. So yes, that is correct. These new children are super gifted. Where will we live? What type of structure, 4D, 5D, and 6D? Well, 4D is going to be a combination of what we have today in crystalline. 5D is going to be all the structures and monuments and buildings are going to be made out of crystalline. And then 6D, it's going to also be crystalline. How do we feed our pets in the 4D, 5D? This is a question from Kelly, loyal to a fault. Well, in the 4D, your pets are going to be eating very healthy organic food. In the 5D, the animals will not be needing food anymore. They're going to be like us. They're going to be able to live and be nourished from the light rays of the sun. Good question, though, Kelly. Dr. Christine Blake Smith, thank you so much for your super chat. She says, should we just retire now and enjoy the time we have left? P.S. We did our Paris trip after all, and it was great. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Dr. Christine. That is totally up to you. I mean, if you have the funds to retire and the resources, why not? Enjoy life a little more. Why not retire? Oh, thank you so much, Carolyn McCabe. Thank you so much for that super chat. That's very generous of you. Much gratitude for your great knowledge and teachings. This knowledge is not mine, guys. All right. And neither are my teachings. I'm just borrowing from the mind of God. All right. God is the sole author of all knowledge. So I give credit to God. I'm just a vessel. That's it. Just like all of you guys are vessels. Gloria Jimenez is saying, brother, can you let us know about the 14 days of darkness that is coming? Well, you must be referring to the EBS. Oh, that's a very good question. You know, I'm starting to think in terms of the Bible, it's going to happen when we least expect it, but it has been prophesied that there will be a revelation, which is what the true meaning of the word apocalypse. And that's going to be happening during the 14 days of darkness, where the alliance is going to play 10 hours a day, right? All of the corruption and exposing all of the negative people and everything that they've done. So we are still expecting it. Honestly, I really thought it was going to happen this weekend. It could still happen. The weekend isn't over yet, guys. You know, Israel is the last card to fall. And again, for those that are just jumping on, please watch this on the replay so you could understand that from day one, Mr. T was playing Netanyahu. He kept his enemies closer. It's the art of war. All right. Let's see. Will Nibiru pass? Yes, Nibiru is on its way. It is also known as our second sun. Is there anything to the Nasera information? Says H Hubcap. I think I talked about that on my last live or maybe 2 lives ago, my Monday night Yhat update. So I would watch if I were you. my latest Monday Night Whitehead update. I think I broke down what Nasera and Gesera is, and how it was signed, by Billy Bob, married to the witch, forced at gunpoint by the Alliance. Oh, let's see. One more question. We're almost at the top of the hour and a half. One more question. Let's see. Which one will I pick? There's so many good questions here. By the way, all of you guys have really good questions. Do we have to cook in the fourth D? I believe so. Yes, there'll still be cooking in the fourth D. Absolutely. All right, one more question. Let's see. All right, this is a good question. Caroline Armstrong is asking, when we ascend, will we be able to reconcile with people from our past? And the answer to that is yes. And you could actually begin to do that now through a meditation that I teach my students in my Ascension 2.0 class, through the quantum field. Okay. So yes, the answer to that is absolutely yes. Coco wants to know if I'm going to be in Vegas in September. You must be referring to the Alien event, Biomed Expo. I might be. I think I'm going to be.
Our experience, it would be very magical to go there. But that's where there's a collective. But there is also an individual dragon realm where there's floating islands and waterfalls, and it's so beautiful. Whenever my dragon takes me there, it's like you just want to hang out.
Oh, that sounds just like the Avatar, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, when I saw Avatar, I'm like, that's what the dragon realm looks like. So, yeah, very, very similar to what they did with Avatar. And it makes you wonder how many people see these things. And I love it when an artist gets the information, because then they can make it all come to life, for everybody. But before Avatar ever came out, I was seeing the dragon realm with the floating islands and the waterfalls, and it was neat to see this big island floating, and then the water would come down to this more planety, the one major island or planet, and there wouldn't be that many of them. They'd be scattered. And then there was this canyon where the dragons, there was a waterfall that go down this canyon, and they'd live in the caves in the canyon, and there was thousands of them in there. That's my vision of the dragon realm. But then they can also take you to that fairy realm that has all the mystical, magical creatures. Okay. So you've got the sprites, the fairies, the elves, the gnomes, and so on.
I was going to ask about the gnomes too a while ago when you're talking about the gardens, because they're the ones, they work in the woods and things like that too, right? So what can you tell about them? I mean, this is really cool. I'm just going to talk all the nature spirits.
Do you want my gnome story?
Yes.
Okay. I love my life, by the way. These things are so fun when they happen. So again, these are kind of older stories, but there was a friend of mine. This is how old this was. My son just turned 18 in October. I was pregnant with him when this story came. So anyways, this friend calls me and she says, something's in my house. She goes, I have an evil elf in my house. And she goes, even my husband wants me at this point to call you because now he's seen it.
Okay.
And he's like, he was a non-believer. And this is what she told me. She goes, yeah, he was upstairs in the theater room, and he heard one of the kids run downstairs, and their kids were still little. And he was trying to figure out why were they up? So he got up and went downstairs, and nobody was downstairs. So he went back upstairs, and they were all sleeping. So that freaked him out. So he went in their bedroom, woke her up, and said, call your weird friend and ask her to tune into what's in this house. So she did. And I tell you what, I wish they would make a Disney movie out of this one, because what was happening is, so they had relocated because he was an anesthesiologist, and they bought this house out in the woods and had a little property, and it had a little creek that ran by it, just gorgeous house. And so what happened is they cut down this gnome's tree.
Oh.
Yeah. But he would have to run through their house and then go under the house to get to where his tree was. And so he was always running through the house. Well, he was annoyed by that, so he was making mischief for them. And like, she was really experiencing the mischief because she was I think at that time she was a stay-home mom with the kids. So she was home all the time, and like, she's feeling something touch her. She's like physical things were happening. And so she was getting a little freaked out. Anyways, it was because she was calling it the evil elf. It didn't like that, obviously, because that's not what it was, for one.
No.
So the first thing it does, it says, "Quit calling me the evil elf." This is the message I'm giving. "I'm a gnome, and you built your house over mine." And she goes, "Well, we're not the ones that built it." And so as we got into it, basically, and the weird part about it was, I said, okay, and I had never been in her house. I said, "He's saying that you go into the entry, into the doorway, and there's a hall." And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, I want you to go stand where he's saying, by the door." And she goes, "Okay, I'm by the door." And I said, "Now walk forward." And she's walking forward, and he says, "Now," in my head. And I said, "Now." And she stops. I said, "That's where his tree was." And she just went, and she's like, "Oh." She goes, "This is so weird." Okay. And anyways, so then now that he had a voice, he was like, "I love your kids. I love to watch them because they're all little, and he goes, "But you guys your home was built over top of my home, and I don't have anywhere to live." And so I said, "Well, can we find you a new tree?" And he said, "I would love that." So she took her kids to the craft store, and they went and got all the little fairy things, the little doors and windows and stuff.
Right.
And he said he wanted to have a view of the backyard so he could watch the kids play, but he would love to be by the water. And they went and found him a tree, and they gave him a driveway and a little garage. And it was so cute. And she took pictures of it and sent it to me. And anyways, so he was all excited that they were going to help him and that they were going to do it together with him. And so they do that. And then, I don't know, a few weeks went by, a month or so, and I contacted her. I said, "How's it going over there?" And she goes, "Not a peep since we